Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
IWS Aviation.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Mariam Vijayaratna. Let's look at the headlines first. Rebased National Consumer Price Index shows 53.2% inflation. Sri Lanka's premier travel and tourism fair returns. News in detail. The Department of Census and Statistics recently released the National Consumer Price Index for the month of January 2023. The NCPI was updated to a new index reference period of 2021 equals 100. The National Consumer Price Index for all items in the month of January 2023 is at 201.8. This increase of 1.4 index points from 200.4 in December 2024 represent an increase in expenditure value of 700.18 rupees in the market basket. The NCPI has weights based on expenditure data derived from the 2019 Household Income and Expenditure Survey and reflects international recommendations best practices. Increases in the index value of food and non-food items by 0.08 and 0.61% respectively contributed to the month-on-month change. For food items, increases in index values were reported for most, however, decreases were reported for 11 items. For non-food groups, increases in index values were reported for most, however, decreases were reported for housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels and transport, while communication remained unchanged. The overall rate of inflation measured by NCPI on a year-on-year basis was 53.2% in January 2023. Food and non-food group inflation was 53.6% and 52.9% respectively. With respect to January 2022, the inflation for January 2023 was mainly due to higher price levels in both food and non-food groups. On a year-on-year basis, contribution of food commodities to inflation was 24.18% in January 2023 compared to the month of January 2022. Contribution of non-food items was 29.04%. This was mainly due to price increases in all groups of items. The moving average inflation for the month of November 2022 is 46.7%. The corresponding rate for the month of October 2022 was 42.2%. Board of Investment Enterprises have contributed a total $8.7 billion through merchandise exports in 2022. This represents an expansion of 8% when compared with revenue in 2021. This contribution to the national economy was made despite the country's GDP contracting 11.8% in 2022. In a recent statement to media, the Board of Investment maintained that the enterprises under its purview have contributed 99% of garment exports and 81% of textile exports. They have also contributed 93% of leather, travel goods and footwear exports, 83% of machinery and mechanical appliance exports, 88% of printing industry product exports and 81% of transport equipment exports. Accordingly, textile and garment exports grew 12% to $5.8 billion in 2022 compared to $5.2 billion recorded in 2021, while leather, travel goods and footwear exports grew 52% to $80 million. Furthermore, the export earnings from gems, diamonds and jewelry increased 19% to $147.57 million, while machinery and mechanical appliances grew 16% to $484.77 million. Also, printing industry product exports grew 12% to $46.47 million and base metal and article exports grew 11% to $85.53 million, while ceramic product exports grew 3% to $260.66 million. The positive performance was primarily driven by apparel exports, which showed the highest earnings in 2022. Rubber products showed the second highest export earnings, and leather and travel goods and footwear exports reported the highest percentage in terms of growth. The Board of Investment maintains that as the forerunner of Sri Lanka's export industry, it contributes over 66% to overall export earnings and 85% to national industrial export earnings. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena recently urged the Japan International Cooperation Agency to recommence all projects temporarily halted due to fiscal issues. Prime Minister Gunawardena made this request when JICA Director General for South Asia, Aito Teriyuki, called on him. The JICA Director General assured the Prime Minister that JICA projects would be resumed as soon as the debt restructuring program is finalized by the International Monetary Fund. The Prime Minister's office maintains that 12 JICA projects worth $2.5 billion have been temporarily halted due to the fiscal crisis. The JICA delegation expressed satisfaction over the progress in debt restructuring plans, in which Japan also played a major role. The Prime Minister thanked JICA Director General for the continuous assistance provided to Sri Lanka for several decades for water treatment, sewerage, sanitation and solid waste treatment projects in several cities and towns. Prime Minister Gunawardena also requested JICA to assist in new areas such as renewable energy and electrification of public transport and railways. The Prime Minister also briefed the JICA delegation on steps taken to improve transparency and accountability in project implementation by enacting required legislation as recommended by the committee appointed by the President. Prime Minister Gunawardena added that a budget act would be passed to ensure continuation of nationally important projects and policies despite change of governments in power. Stay tuned, we'll be right back after this short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Ending a 3-year hiatus, Sancharaka Udava, Sri Lanka's premier travel and tourism fair, returns on 19th and 29th of May this year. The 10th edition of the fair, organized by the Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators in collaboration with the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, will be held at the BMICH. The event aims to provide a unique platform for all small and medium tourism service providers to exhibit their products and services, as well as network and build vital links with the tour operator community and public. Recently announcing the latest edition of Sancharaka Udava, Slater President Nishad Wijetunga noted that tourism stakeholders will be able to gain much needed exposure at the exhibition at a subsidized price. Sancharaka Udava is expected to bring together a wide network of personnel across the industry. The expected benefits of this endeavor will be a substantial increase in bookings and sales for the smaller regional service providers. Further, it has been reported that Sri Lanka tourism won't opt for a global communication blitz in 2023, but focus on 9 key markets identified to capitalize on the boost experienced by the industry over the past 6 months. India, Russia, China, the UK, France, Germany, the Middle East, Nordic countries and Australia are the key focus markets listed by the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau. In these markets, the Bureau hopes to conduct social media and PR campaigns by May 2023. Tourism accounts for close to 5% of Sri Lanka's economy. The industry is hopeful of achieving 1.55 million visitors and an income of $2.88 billion in 2023. Further, Sri Lanka tourism aims to positively impact the arrival patterns by working with 1,000 influencers throughout the year to make Sri Lanka a year-round destination. The Department of Census and Statistics recently published its third quarter report on the Sri Lanka Labour Force Survey 2022. According to the DCS, the estimated economically active population is about 8.4 million in the third quarter of 2022. Of the economically active population, 65.7% are males and 34.3% are females. The economically inactive population is about 8.8 million, out of which 26.6% are males and 73.4% are females. The Labour Force Survey provides information on labour force participation rates by gender since year 2017. It is important to note that male participation to the labour force is always higher than that of female participation. The distribution of labour force participation rate by age group and by gender depicts high male participation compared to female groups. The highest participation rate for males is reported from age group 40 to 44 years at 96.4%. The highest participation rate for females is reported from age group 25 to 29 years at 47.4%. The Labour Force Survey also shows the percentage distribution of employed population by main industry from third quarter 2021 to third quarter 2022. During the third quarter of 2022, the total number of employed persons in Sri Lanka was estimated as 8 million. Of which about 47.2% engaged in service sector, 26.9% in agriculture sector and 25.9% in industry sector. In the third quarter of 2022, there was an increase in employed persons in industry and service compared to the third quarter of 2021. A majority of the workforce are private sector employees, followed by own account workers. The non-agriculture sector covers 73.1% of the employed population in Sri Lanka. Employees and own account workers are highly constraining in this sector. The Sri Lanka Labour Force Survey 2022 also it further depicts the percentage distribution of male and female employed population by main industry sectors. Highest employment shares is in the service sector, with this being true for both males and females, while the lowest employment shares was held by the industry sector. Among employed females, 27.1% were in the agriculture sector, while this share is 26.7% for males. The number of unemployed persons is estimated as 419,163 during the third quarter of 2022. The unemployment rate was 5%. Overall unemployment rate reported for females is 6.4% and it is 4.2% for males. Youth unemployment age group 15 to 24 for the quarter is 23.8% and that is the highest reported unemployment rate among all age groups. Further, the unemployment rates for males and females are 23.2% and 25% respectively for age group 15 to 24. The survey further reveals that unemployment among females is higher than that of males in all age groups. Thus, youth and female unemployment are the main contributors to overall unemployment in the country. The highest unemployment rate is reported from the GCE advanced level and above group, which is 8.7%. Corresponding percentages are 7.4% and 10% for males and females respectively. Female unemployment rates are higher than those of male except below GCE ordinary level. The survey reveals that the problem of unemployment is more acute in the case of educated females than educated males. This has been consistently observed over previous surveys as well. We'll be right back with the stock updates. Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 59.88 points to close at 9,315.87 and the S&P SL gained 9.36 points to close at 2,833.45. The turnover was 2.1 billion rupees and over 84 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all we have for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Have a great weekend. Take care and good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
IWS Aviation.